Welcome to the 30 Days to Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Holly Smith, author of 30 Days to Happiness. Every week, I will share and bring you inspiration and motivation with actionable steps to find purpose, create better habits, and wake up happy every single day. It's time to build a business and life that you absolutely love. Are you ready to get your formula for happiness? Let's go.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the 30 Days to Happiness podcast. Now, I've been asked multiple times to film and record a podcast on this subject, so I thought, here we go. Now, my managers, leaders, my business owners, people who are listening and trying to organize their life, this one is for you. If you want to lead and lead with authority and actually build a business and not be stuck in survival mode, or trying to lead a team and forgetting all the other things that actually do matter, or maybe if you're a manager or a leader or someone who's bringing in people all the time, trying to manage them, bringing them in for meetings, trying to have a conversation, and your expectations do not match. I mean, there are a lot of circumstances that I can continue talking about, but today I'm going to give you a very simple framework that you can use no matter what kind of situation you're in. If you're leading a team, running a business, or just trying to organize your own life, and you are ready to lead a team or lead yourself, then you need to use this formula. It's called L.E.A.D.S. L.E.A.D.S stands for listen, establish, audit, delegate, and shift. This is going to help you free up 10 hours in your week. It's going to help communication between you and your employees or even team members a lot more efficient, and you're going to have better expectations for each other. Now, I just want to let you know, if you want to free up 10 hours in your week, you can download my free 1-hour workday planning template. I'll show you how to do that and plan the most productive week of your life. You can just click the link in the description here and you can download it, and it'll come with a free productivity training as well. Otherwise, you can buy my focus formula for $27. It's the whole entire high performance routine and the productivity strategies for you to free up 10 hours in your week, but actually execute it. So let's go back to the lead formula. You want to free up 10 hours in your week and actually lead with purpose and stop putting out fires every day, which who knows, that takes up a lot of time, right? People knocking on your door as well, getting distracted. You're supposed to finish work at 5 p.m., but now it's like 6 p.m. and you're supposed to be home for dinner with your family, and now your wife's getting mad. Anyway, this is just a very common example that a lot of my clients have. But the first thing you're going to do is listen before you actually start leading. Ask yourself, what are the real fires that need to be put out? Most leaders react to noise and fires instead of focusing on the actual real root cause and issue. So before any meeting, you need to ask yourself, what actually needs to be solved here? What's the outcome that I want for this meeting? Does this really need to be a meeting, or can it be an email? There are so many people that have so many meetings, and in reality, half the people don't even need to be there. Let's be honest. That last question is going to save you a lot of time. So that's one way you can free up probably an hour in your week. Now, if you're not an organized person and you love just go with the flow, see how it works, and you might find that the people that you are meeting with walk away with not as much clarity as they were expecting. So setting expectations for yourself for not just the meeting, but for what you expect of them and what they are going to expect of you, those expectations change absolutely everything when it comes to building a really good relationship with your team. So the first thing you need to do is set expectations in your meetings. Be clear in the agenda and time box the discussion if you need to. Just remember that your team needs clarity more than they need control. So how do they do that? They get it from you because you are the leader. You are the source. You are the water, right? So you're the source because you generally put out all the fires if that is you. So how can we not have fires in the first place? Get rid of all the trees. Now, E, establish decision-making boundaries. One of my favorites. Now, managers end up making decisions for everyone just out of habit. That is just what I have found. Establish who owns what, or who's required to do what task, what decisions must go through you, right? You don't want to be overpowering someone else's leadership. That's when people start getting upset and they feel like they're not good enough. I have a client who has started leading a team and he does a great job, but the agendas for the meetings, he didn't know what to say, what to do. And there were a lot of other like HR issues as well with like stepping on people's toes. Now, because he actually took the initiative and wasn't scared and actually took action and had a conversation with the people that he needed to, he realized the actual fire and the issue wasn't the issue. He realized that someone was in a job or a management role that they didn't even want to be in, and that changed the whole entire team. Like I said, managers end up putting out everyone's fires and doing everyone's job just out of habit. So next time, I want you to use this rule. If it costs X amount of money and it doesn't break anything, make the call. This builds leadership beneath you, not dependency on you. A stands for audit your time and energy and calendar every single week. Now, this is one of my favorites. You guys know I love time management. Now, you cannot lead well if you're in survival mode and you're all over the place and you're scattered and unorganized. Now, I think we forget as leaders is that you must lead by example. Say that again in your head. And if you're not leading by example, how do you expect the people around you to do the same? To lead, to be better, to meet your expectations. Maybe your expectations are so high and you're not even leading by example. Sorry, but that's bad management and leadership. You need to fix that. Start acting like the leader you're supposed to be, practicing what you preach, being kind to people, actually having a really great calendar and organizational skills and an established meeting formula. So every single week, I want you to do a 15-minute audit. Number one, what tasks are giving me momentum? What's moving the needle forward? What tasks are draining me? What is just draining not just my energy, but just draining the team? Number three, what meetings or calls actually didn't need me at all? It's time to start using your time wisely because your time is energy. And if you want more energy, you need to use your time more wisely. Now, what parts of the business are bottlenecked by me? Most high performers actually confuse productivity with responsiveness. You're not here to manage inboxes, you're here to build. Now, I want you to delegate deeper. That's what D in LEAD stands for. You think you've delegated everything, but the truth is you've probably just delegated tasks and not actual ownership. Ask yourself, have I trained this person to just think for me? Or have I trained them to wait for me? How many times have you got to go put out fires, answer questions, and you just end up doing it yourself because you actually haven't trained them to think for themselves or think for me, but instead to wait for you and wait for an answer? Now, if you're a bit of a control freak, this might be something you need to work on. Have I handed off the outcome or just the action? If you've just handed out the action, then they're going to finish the action without completing the end result, which is the outcome. And they won't know what that looks like if they haven't done it. And that actually becomes a habit. How many times have you just been like, oh, I'm so tired, or oh, I'll just ask this person. Oh, they'll know. That actually becomes a habit. And if you have people underneath you or managers or people who you are managing and they just constantly say, oh, I'll just ask, what's this so? I'll just ask this person. I'll just ask this person. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. Absolutely not. But when it becomes a habit because you can't be bothered doing your own work, then it becomes an issue. So you can ask yourself, have I handed off the actual outcome or just the action itself, like the task? Here's a tool you can use to actually fix this. I want you to create decision trees. If X happens, do Y, and meaning the variable. And if you're really unsure, then escalate with more context. Delegation isn't about unloading. It's about empowering. If you're finding yourself in a meeting and the other person is just venting, that's fine, but cut them off. Make sure you actually have a proper agenda for the meeting and you are actually listening. Good leaders listen, and that was the very first point. The S stands for shift from firefighting to actual building, right? If you're constantly putting fires out, the house never gets built. Now that you've actually cleared the noise, so what's one thing you need to do this week, or one thing you can do this week to actually build and not react? There are 3 things I really love to do that will really help you with this. Book a strategy thinking hour. Now you just sit down with yourself or even your team and you start strategizing. Not the day-to-day, the vision. If you do not know your 10-year vision, your 10-year plan, you don't have to have a plan on paper, but you do have to have some form of vision. Otherwise, you just can't work backwards to actually focusing on building the business. Revisit your 90-day plan, revisit your quarterly plans. If you do not have quarterly plans, what are you doing? You're just trying to survive. And I totally get that. Like, it's a season. But if you're stuck in survival, you know what happens? You forget to work on money making, money generating, and even visionary activities and tasks. Now, if those things never, ever, ever get worked on, or you're delegating them and you're not delegating them efficiently, everything just falls apart. And that's why you always feel behind. This will help you work on future systems and not just the current day-to-day issues and fires. You cannot scale a business when you're stuck in survival trying to solve the same problem on repeat. You were not called to spend days reacting. You were called to build something meaningful. And the best leaders, they don't just manage chaos, create systems, set culture, and create capacity within others. That starts by stepping out of survival mode and into vision mode, making one intentional decision at a time. Tune into the 30 Days to Happiness podcast to get the full L.E.A.D.S framework. Send this to a friend, comment, like, and subscribe, and share it with someone who really needs to hear this. Maybe it's a manager, a leader, or someone who owns a business. Everyone needs to know how to lead better amongst all the chaos in life. And if you're ready to stop surviving and start leading like an actual high performer, get the best year of your life planning system. I'll just put it in the description, and you can then start focusing on the vision and not just the day-to-day. I show you how to plan your quarters, plan your years, plan the best year of your life, all with clear KPIs and a plan. Now, if you are in Australia and you're ready to take your leadership, your life,